Welcome, everyone. I am so excited to have you here. Thanks again for coming to today's Aligned Living Circle. So, today's focus is on shifting into light and renewal. And we are looking at the aspect of spirit, or that liminal aspect today. What is going on seasonally in the natural world right now? Just a few days ago, on the 21st of December, was the winter solstice, or Yule. And the winter solstice is the shortest day of the year. That's, astrologically, seasonally, the shortest day of the year and the longest night. But now the days are growing longer. So this is time to celebrate the return or rebirth of the sun and surviving the darkest part of the year. And this is an energy that applies to more than just the winter solstice, right? We see this same energy in closing out old chapters, when we're coming out of a dark season in our lives, any big step, this is the same energy. We're stepping out of the longer nights and into that brighter new self. So we will talk about first our plant ally, and our plant ally of the week is yew. Yew is a tree, and these trees live to be very old. The oldest confirmed yew is 5,000 years old, but there are yews that are estimated to be over 9,000 years old. They're very hard to carbon date when they're that old. So when a yew tree actually does begin to die, a new tree can sprout inside of the old tree. Where it's dying, a new one will sprout and take on new life. And that's quite an amazing ability. But another amazing property of yew is that low-hanging branches of this tree will touch the ground, and where they touch, they sprout new roots and form an entirely new tree. And this represents yew's connection to the cyclical nature of life, the cycles of seasons, the moons, the cycles of birth, death, and rebirth. And it's thought that yews have the ability to grow indefinitely if they're in the right conditions. And this is why yews hold the property of immortality. And just like yew, we have the power to renew ourselves and replant ourselves. Another message with yew is, if we continue to work toward our desires and nurture them with trust, with faith, the good things in our lives will root themselves like the branches of yew, and they will flourish. And interestingly enough, today in medicine, we actually use the extract from yew trees to treat many types of cancer. And how magical is it when the spiritual properties align with its proven medicinal properties? Just love those moments. And a message from yew today is about change, especially here right after the winter solstice, or a winter solstice within ourselves, within our lives. This is a time now in this shift to reframe change. Change isn't an obstacle for us right now. Change is an advantage. It's an opportunity. Whether you're watching live or you are catching the replay, now's the time to release the fear of change. It's time to let it go and lean into change. Embrace change, even when it's uncomfortable, and allow the flow of that energy to carry you toward your most aligned life. That's where we're at right now. And another property of this tree here is that it represents the transition here between the winter solstice from the darkness into the light. And it is a reminder that brighter days will come. When we're in the middle of our difficulties, our struggles, yew tells us to continue with strength. Because remember, darkness is an energy, and that energy is where growth begins. Seeds sprout in the darkness. We are in darkness as we prepare to be born into this world. All of our biggest dreams, all of our desires, they begin in our imaginations. That is the energy of darkness. So it's time to honor the darkness within yourself, within your life, and have gratitude for all the things you've grown out of those darkness places. And remember, as we're moving into the season of growing light, this transition, it's time to reignite your inner light. So we also have an animal ally working with us this week, and that is lynx. Lynx is significant this time of year because they are not stopped or hindered whatsoever by winter weather. In fact, lynx thrive in winter. They have really large paws built perfectly for easily maneuvering through snow. Even in the harshest weather, lynx is powerful and confident. And one of the most noticeable things about lynx is their beautiful gray coats. And as we talked about in previous events, fur is symbolic of psychic energy, of spiritual energy. And so with lynx, this gray color symbolizes the clouds that separate the seen and unseen, that veil. This seen and unseen, this veil, is the energy of in between or liminal. And since our theme this week is the aspect of spirit, what unites that physical and ethereal, this is a great ally for us to work with this week. And with this liminal energy, lynx can cross between that physical and ethereal. And they do this exploring and connecting wisdom from both sides. They have access to all the wisdom that there is to access. And we are being reminded that we do too, not just now, but always. It's simply a matter of knowing how to access it, how to tap into that. And we can learn from the lynx that we can do this if we embody both the physical and ethereal. If we bring both of these planes together within ourselves, uniting our spiritual understanding with our worldly knowledge, this is a doorway to deep wisdom. Another fascinating piece about lynx is they are born with blue eyes that fade in turn to yellow. And blue here represents the expansiveness of other worlds and the knowledge that we find there. And the yellow symbolizes that knowledge being brought into our physical reality, our physical world, and manifesting into tangible things. And lynx is really known for their sight. They've been known through many traditions, many mythologies for being all-seeing, seeing everything. And so calling on this energy, we can see our inner truths. We can see through illusions. We can see secrets. And that means that we can use that to see through our fears and through our doubts and the lies that we tell ourselves. And we can use that to step out of our dark chapters and into our springs. So with lynx's ability to gather wisdom and use energy of renewal, we can let go of our past with clarity and begin again with new roots. That's the message this week. Our challenging and difficult periods are all part of our natural cycles. They are part of our evolution, no matter how uncomfortable, no matter how cold and harsh. It's all part of the cycle. And then finally, we have our tarot card that I pulled for us this week, and that is the Empress. And the Empress really goes wonderfully with these messages. She's a symbol of creation blooming into the physical world, like flowers and trees, as well as new ideas and a new self, a new life. And the Empress creates life by nurturing it. She's a nurturer. She's a mother. Seeds need water to grow, and children need care and attention. And that's reflected in us as well. We need to nurture whatever it is that we're growing so that it can fully form into our vision, into that big vision goal. Just like you is telling us to keep working toward our vision with trust, the Empress is urging us to do it with gentle love and care, the kindest of care to ourselves and everybody else. Another symbol of this card is expansive growth. This card is very much about stepping into a abundant, beautiful period in life. And we're not in the period of longer nights anymore. We're now in the phase of growing light and warmth. And we have a fertile soil to plant all of our seeds of intention in. It's all right there in front of us. And the Empress is a very earth-centered card. And so one of the tools this week is to remember grounding. Grounding is so important to everyone all the time. But as energetically inclined people, we need grounding even more. Honestly, we do. It's very easy to get too far into the ethereal and lose touch with our physical reality. And that's important. As living the human experience, we got to be in the physical. So, especially now in this phase of moving from one season to another, we need to be grounding. This is a liminal time, as I said, and liminality naturally creates ungroundedness. So be sure to ground yourself this week. I recommend personally at least grounding yourself when you wake up in the morning and before you go to bed at night. But anytime during the day, you're feeling scattered, you're feeling a lack of clarity, a little chaotic, anxious, anything that's not your aligned self, grounding is a really great way to bring yourself back down. I do have a ritual to share with you guys today, and I'm very excited. This is a ritual to leave behind a season and move into another, metaphorically. And we are going to be calling on the energies of these allies this week to formulate exactly how this ritual is going to go. So, for this ritual, you will need a piece of paper, a pen, a candle, and a fireproof dish. Any candle will work. A fireproof dish can just be anything that's not going to burn or melt while you're burning some paper. So you'll start by, on your paper, ripping off a small bit and writing something that you want to let go of. You could write fear of change. You could write overworking. You could write poor self-care. You could write going to bed too late, whatever it is that you want to get rid of. And then you will light your candle and you're going to spend time just looking into that flame. You don't want to rush this. You want to take your time. And as you're looking, allow your eyes to really soften. Let your mind slow down. Let your body quiet. And breathe into that space. And then as you're looking into this flame, take time to reflect on what it is you wrote down. Maybe you wrote down a few things. Reflect on what you wrote and see where that is in your life right now. Where does it show up? Where did it start? Where did it come from? And you can use the sight of links, that energy of seeing all, to look into the energy of the flame and see what it is, the insights you need to let go of this, whatever. And once you've reflected, you'll take your slip of paper and you'll burn it in the candle. And you'll simply say, I release fear of change, or whatever you've written down. And while it burns, you'll take deep breaths and allow that energy to leave you. It's burning, you've dropped it in your dish, and you just breathe and let it all flow out, release. And then it's over. You can sit in silence, let your candle burn, and just let yourself be in the new space. You might feel a shift of energy, you might not, but sitting in the silence and just letting yourself be. You don't have to figure it out. You don't have to feel or know. It's happening. Trust it. And this really is a powerful practice combining, candle magic and some other things and pyromancy and all that stuff. But there are a lot more things to explore. And we do this in the Modern Mystic Academy. You'll find lots of practices like this ritual paired with deeper understanding so you can make this transformation even more powerful. It's a really great way to deepen the work. And if you're curious about that, if that's something you'd like, you can join us anytime and start your journey.